As you guys can see up on the screen today, I wanted to talk a little bit about Bene Capital Acquisition Corp. This is obviously a SPAC, a blank check company, whatever you want to call it. And it's been going pretty crazy. You know, we look at this 5-day graph for ticker symbol BENE, and things have been pretty flat over the last 5 days. But then all of a sudden we get this huge, massive jump, and then a ton of volatility after that. You know, big jump up, big jump down, and then another big jump up, and then just kind of, you know, trading in a channel, trading in a window. Things have been crazy. Things have been volatile. But obviously, if you see a vertical line, or, you know, maybe it's a little bit diagonal, mostly vertical line, there's probably some big news. There's probably something pretty interesting going on. So that's what we're going to be going over today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this one. So again, obviously a SPAC, blank check company, whatever. $167 million market cap, so not crazy big, but definitely not the smallest stock or company or whatever that we've talked about on this channel. And again, this thing was up 9% today, so it's going to get people talking. And the news here is that Trump SPAC financier is going to list a hydrogen firm in an $805 million deal. So obviously, you know, we've kind of seen Trump stock mania over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. It's somewhat dying down to an extent. It's not as crazy as it once was, but still anything linked to Trump whatsoever, anything that Trump is involved in, or even like in this case, tangentially involved in, you know, this isn't Trump actively being in anything, just people that are linked to Trump. The stocks go crazy. There's a ton of news articles. It's an easy story. You know, we had the last, you know, couple of years of the Trump presidency where everyone was trying to use his name, face, everything all over the place because it gets clicks. It's news stories. Whether you love him, hate him, whatever, there's tons of people on both sides. And there's a lot of that, you know, people just trying to get Trump's name more involved because, again, he's so polarizing. There's so many people on both sides. And again, you know, a Trump SPAC financier is listing a company or, you know, getting a D-SPAC deal done. And the article just has a big picture of Trump. You know, it has nothing to do with Trump. So it is kind of funny. But this is just where the market's at. When you have a Trump stock, even a Trump-related stock, things are going pretty crazy. Things are pretty interesting. That's enough to get a bunch of articles written about you, a bunch of headlines. It's enough to get some people excited. It's enough to get some people buying, which is really, really interesting. Probably not the healthiest state for the market to be in, you know, if I'm being honest, but it is interesting. And obviously you need to, you know, take advantage of trends, see what's going on in the market, and, you know, kind of make your decisions from there. But Patrick Orlando, the financier, helping to take former U.S. President Donald Trump's media venture public. Obviously, you know, talking about like Truth, social media, all that stuff. That guy has now agreed to merge one of his blank check companies with hydrogen fuel developer Ecombustible Energy LLC, Orlando's Bene Capital Acquisition Corp. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. That seems like a hard name to say. Reach a deal that will involve investors in a Miami-based Ecombustible will receive $805 million of stock, it said in a regulatory filing on Wednesday. It's obviously when we saw, you know, these big jumps in the stock price on Wednesday, November 24th. The hydrogen firm's backers may receive as many as 59 million additional Bene shares, depending on the stock price performance over the next 2.5 years. So again, obviously 2.5 years isn't a super long time period in like the stock market, but you know, when we're seeing a lot of these companies is how volatile they're being over the course of days, weeks, and months. 2.5 years seems like forever away, but this is a long-term deal, a longer-term investment. So hopefully that should give some people, you know, some peace of mind and some sense of safety. Hopefully with a deal like this. Orlando, this guy, you know, Patrick Orlando, he runs several SPACs, including the DWAC stock that has been talked about a lot recently, which agreed in October to merge with Trump's media venture in a deal valued at $1.7 billion. Another blank check company led by Orlando is liquidating after failing to find an acquisition target. So, you know, this guy's had some winners. He's had some losers. He's involved with some big names. He's involved with some successful business people. Obviously, some of the stuff's going to work out. Some stuff's going to not. Him having something that got liquidated and didn't work out isn't necessarily an indictment on him. That's just the nature of businesses, you know. Not everyone's going to be a successful business person every single time. Obviously, you know, even the most successful business people in history have failures, and that's just the nature of the beast. You know, just because you have a good idea doesn't mean everything's going to work out. It's not always the right time, the right place, all that stuff. There's a million different things at play, and that's why the best of the best, they just keep firing, they keep humming, they keep going. As soon as they get knocked down, they get right back up and they go for it again. And that obviously exactly seems like what Mr. Orlando is doing in this case. But that is what is going on with this company a little bit. As far as the actual company that they're, spacking with or de-spacking, the Ecombustible has been developing a hydrogen-based alternative fuel that can be used in thermal industrial applications. This company's technology has been validated through independent assessments by third-party engineering firms and other experts, so hopefully that should be good. Jorge Arevalo, a former real estate investor and hotelier, founded the company about a decade ago. He says that a realization of the power required to support these property developments and a study of Nobel laureate Irving Longmuir's research on clean energy inspired him to start his company. Now, this Bene capital acquisition, sponsored by ARC Global Investments, raised $115 million in a January IPO. At the time, the SPAC said it would focus on deal-making with technology-focused middle market and emerging growth companies in North, Central, and South America. Interest in hydrogen is surging, which is obviously a good sign for a company like this, with many government and businesses betting on the clean molecule of the future. Still creating a hydrogen economy, I can't talk, won't be easy, as a multitude of companies in space need to prove their technologies can be commercialized and work on a large scale needed for success. That's the other thing, is we see so many, like, yes, alternative fuel, clean energy, all this stuff. Definitely a big market, definitely big potential. There's going to be a large audience, especially going forward. We're going to see a ton of growth in the space. We're going to see a ton of potential and opportunity, but we're also going to see a ton of competition. Yes, getting in early is great. Yes, getting started early is great, but we know there's a lot of companies that already have a head start on companies like this. We also know that, with this SPAC getting started, there's also probably thousands of other companies that are, getting started right now, but also existing companies that are pivoting, getting more involved in alternative energy, fuel, all that stuff. Riding the wave is great. Catching the hot fad is great, but there's a lot of other people that are going to be trying to do that. And sometimes it's better to, be an established brand in the market, have that market share already, prove that you've already been successful. Sometimes it's better to carve out your own niche. Sometimes it's better to, try and catch the next trend rather than riding the wave of the trend that's going on right now. So, yes, obviously, alternative fuel, awesome opportunity. Yes, clean molecule, clean energy, all this stuff, great opportunities going forward. But just because Ecombustible fits in the mold of what is a good idea or what's going to be successful in the future or whatever, doesn't mean that they are going to be the company that hits it out of the park. They're going to be the company that does it right. Like the article says here, they need to prove that they are able to work on a large scale. They're able to, generate revenue, generate profits, generate growth into the future, more so than just being hey, here's X, Y, and Z buzzword, throw some money at us. We're going to do all these crazy things. Hey, and we're partnered with a guy who was partnered with Trump, So just be a little bit wary, a little bit careful, but do understand that that is what's going on with BENE stock. That's why it's jumped up so crazy today. And that might be, a little bit of what's headed in store in the future for it. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about BENE. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to Tip Today and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys on the next one. But until then, peace.